Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Libra, this is a bonus reading, and our card tonight is the Ace of Discs. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see what these tea leaves are going to tell us. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, well, if you can hear the cat, he heard me start the reading and he came to meow down the hallway. Their voice projects and echoes down the hallway near the studios. And so, well, he's saying hello. So we have the word Ford, F-O-R-D. Now it could be F-O-R-P, Forp. I don't know what that would be, but I do think that, yeah, Ford. And then we also have the number 7203. 7203. Okay, so also Ford though. Wow, that's like super clear. So maybe this has to do with like an old Ford truck. Maybe you'll be getting a Ford pretty soon. Okay, so we have this large eye right in the middle. And so I can't help but feel like this is really kind of a symbol of watch out. Keep your eyes open. Make sure you're paying attention, Libra. Okay, so then we have a person kind of almost looks like they're kneeling. And they're holding out a plate. You can see them looking towards the sky and maybe even holding out a finger, kind of like just a minute, right? Just 1 minute. And it looks like they're over here feeding. I thought of a cat, like a really big cat. And so up here we have, it looks like another cat. And this looks like the face of a cat. You can see here's an eye, here's an eye, here's the nose, the mouth. It's kind of open, right? And the ears, that eye is right there by the ear. So I feel like this is really, it's kind of this symbol of you're really feeding your independence. You have such an independent nature generally, but you're also somebody who you take your responsibilities quite seriously, and especially when it has to do with family, with work, with the people who are close to you in your life. You are an independent person, but you're also very involved with the collective responsibilities. And so at times I think that you can feel like that independence is a little bit waning because you're wrapped up in what's going on with everybody. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, yeah, so this period of time, I see you kind of taking a little bit of a reprieve from being super directly involved in every detail of everything going on, right? You are giving yourself a little bit of a break. You're giving yourself space to do the things that you enjoy, to focus on what are your hobbies, what are your passions? Do you just need some time to like sit and stare at the wall by yourself, And that can feel like quite an indulgence, can't it? But, whatever it is. And I think this is so important. I think it's something that a lot of us neglect. And not only that, I feel like we've gotten to this place in the world where we say self-care. It's important to take care of yourself. Put yourself first. Be the priority. But at the same time, there's a lot of judgment about being quite selfish with your time, right? A lot of judgment about it being for self and really, maybe, focusing on some of your needs and putting that in front of maybe the needs of your partner or your family members or whatever. But we all have to have at least some time, right? But it feels almost like a guilty pleasure. And so I feel like, you are being brave with yourself here and you are allowing yourself that space. And I think that, in reality, most of the time we fear, like my kids are going to be mad at me if I can't go to that thing today. I'm going to stay home and get some work done or, organize my office or whatever it is, right? And in reality, they don't mind, They know you're there, you're involved. You're usually, right there in the mix of things and taking charge. And sometimes you just need a moment for yourself. And I think that's not only something that the people around us can understand, but I think it's also important to live by example. Because allowing yourself to have some you time to explore your interests, your passions. I know I say this a lot. Your interests, your passions, your hobbies. Ooh, did I just move that? But it's allowing yourself to do that. I mean, it really it allows other people to be able to do the same, right? By being that example for those people in your life, you're teaching them to, prioritize themselves. And that's an important thing. So, kudos, right? And let's take a look. Let's keep going here. That cat is pretty, look at it. It's very, it looks pretty large there. And it's going for the fish over here too. We have a fish, you can see. Okay. And so another fish also right here. Money. Money is the other thing. And obviously we knew that because we have the Ace of Discs. And I think this recharge, this little moment of kind of seeing yourself again for the first time, not the first time in a while. I think it will help fuel your journey towards abundance, towards making those resources. We cannot repeat after me. We cannot succeed in the ways that we want to when we're burnt out. We just can't. Have you ever been super burnt out? I thought I had been until I had, you know, a newborn. A newborn that was always hungry, and, you know, and we were in lockdown during that time. So, I don't know. I had thought, yeah, I'm burnt out before from my work and this and that. That was the first time I really had a burnout. And, you know, we all have our different things that can cause that. But when you get to that place, are you really, really going to just kind of will yourself to succeed to a next level? Maybe not, right? I mean, you might be somebody that can achieve that, but, you know, I think for the rest of us, yeah, once you get into that zone, it is hard to do your best in all the many tasks that you have in your life, in your day. And so taking that rest, I think it does. And it leads to this money coming in. You finding opportunities and opportunities finding you. And I don't know that this was something that, I almost feel like it's kind of like a happy accident. Like, you weren't necessarily thinking about, oh, I want to, you know, like dedicate my life to the pursuit of, you know, stacking coin. But somehow, some way, you found yourself in maybe a line of work that you just are so good at, right? And not only that, you enjoy, at least don't hate doing this work. And you have been pretty successful, and you are becoming more and more successful as you go along. And I feel like it's just something that maybe it just was never in your plan, right? You wanted to do enough, right? Enough to live pretty well. But you have succeeded beyond that, and you are continuing to do so. And I feel like this is the next level up for you. It's only going to keep getting better. But you have to take care of yourself, right? You have to be your own advocate. You have to be the one saying, yeah, I got to go to bed early tonight. You know, I got to get up early. I got to do my routines, do my, you know, intentional movement, my eating well, however I can, getting my sleep cycle in tune with whatever, you know, promotes the most natural recharge of energy. And that looks different for all of us. All of these things do, right? But I think of these as like, these are some of the core things, right? That really kind of are the foundational points of just how we feel and how we exist within our days. And you know, when we are neglecting any of these things and when they are off, you know, they need to be adjusted in some way. Yeah, I just feel like we're not really giving ourselves the tools to, you know, be succeeding in the ways that we want to. And so, you know, I can see you really being on it and being mindful and being, I think really, I just feel like there's an excitement about whatever you are doing. And I get this impression that you have some maybe business ideas, you have some ideas for like a side hustle or something that you would like to really kind of put whatever free time, which I know is probably not a lot, but whatever time you have to spare, I could see you wanting to put it into something that's going to work for you. And I wanted to look, I forgot to, right here, we have the goat. Okay, we have the head of a goat. You can see the little his little horns right here. And the one eye looking off in this direction towards the future. So to me, when I see the goat, I know this is somebody who has a lot of stamina. This is somebody who isn't going to give up on whatever their goals, their dreams, that star energy might be. You're going to find a way, no matter if it's like, you know, the scenic route or if this is going to be, you know, a bumpy ride. If you're hanging onto the edge, you know, just one little baby step at a time. It doesn't matter. You're not going to give up on getting to where you want to go. The goat does not stop. The goat finds a way. And this is always my example. Going up the side of a hill or a rock face or whatever, you look at them and you think, how are they even standing there? You can barely see any rock jutting out enough to give them a foothold, and yet they find it. And with such ease as well. So I know you're going to make this work. You're going to make this happen. There's no question. So let's take a look over here. Okay, we have the number 17 right here, 17. We also have the number 2. We have a person who is walking. It looks like almost kind of like a monk. And I imagine this is a time of some contemplation. And I feel like this is maybe has to do with, I think it has to do with your faith. And I wonder if possibly the faith that you grew up in, the religion of your family, if it's not one that you have a tenderness for, but maybe have left. Or maybe you were like myself, I did not grow up with any, I did not grow up within a religion, that's for sure. But I was exposed to religions and spirituality. A lot of spirituality. My dad was a total hippie, so all kinds of different things. Also, he was, you know, I'm Native on that side of my family, and we're Choctaw, and my dad was very involved with his beliefs and the beliefs of our people, and kind of trying to keep that going through our family. And so, you know, you might be somebody like me who didn't really have a particular community or belief within the home, but still, obviously you're here, so you have some inclination towards divination, spirituality, the occult, maybe religion, I don't know. But I feel like this is kind of looking back on however it was when you were young, kind of versus where you are now, and seeing the seasons of that journey. And I think that's something that is really very core to your life experience. It's something that even when you have waned and you have gotten away from it, and maybe just you're living your life and 20 years go by, you've been raising kids and stuff, you haven't thought about it that much, and you come back around to maybe reading an old book that you read when you were 15 years old, or, you know, reading your journals, or meeting somebody that has, you know, ties to something that you find interesting, and you're kind of, you know, brought into the fold to some degree, and yeah, you're renewed. There's a sense of passion rising, in this exploration, in this remembering, in this kind of taking a little stroll through those old inclinations and impressions that were formed during those formidable years, right? So, you know, I think it is something for you to allow yourself to explore more deeply, right? I think a lot of us have an experience of kind of being put off by some of the things that maybe we didn't connect with when we were young. Maybe even we go through stages of, or phases, I should say, phases of kind of actively pushing against it and, you know, trying to kind of do the opposite or, you know, whatever. And I think a lot of that is, yeah, it's about self-exploration and so on. But, you know, I think you've come around to a place of reconsidering some of it. You know, it doesn't mean that you adopt it as your core belief or anything like this, but it is something that is part of your experience. And so, yes, I could see why this might be a time where you kind of, you know, want to maybe even restrain judgment and just look at this layer of your life in its, you know, totality during that time, instead of maybe focusing on certain things or events that, you know, kind of got you away from it. And so, you know, always, I believe, anyways, this is my belief, and I'm somebody who maybe is an overthinker, over-contemplator, and total ruminator, by the way. Very prone to rumination. I think it's important that we go over these things. You know, I think it is it's kind of an emotional journey, right? A little bit of a sometimes difficult treat, right? I think of it as a little bit of like going to the museum. You go and you look at these beautiful objects and images and passions that are captured in these, you know, divine things. And you get to be with them for a moment. You get to immerse yourself in them. You get to look them over and feel something, right? Something. So many different things. But, you know, I look at these past parts of our lives, these strands that make up our experience. And when we go back and we kind of look those things over, and even if it is something that is hard, something that really, you know, can really pull on those emotional, spiritual, psychic, you know, strings that you have, it is still such a privilege and something very special and unique to we as beings, conscious beings, that we have the opportunity to do these things. And, you know, if there is such thing as time travel, I think it would be something like this, right? Where we are revisiting these old fragments, these old bits of information. And so the last thing that I look at here is a person kind of sitting or squatting, and we have a serpent coming towards them. So I do feel like there will be a moment of some kind of revelation, something really important to your experience there. And I think, you know, in these kinds of moments of time where we are kind of going through those old places of mind, yes, sometimes we can be confronted with something we weren't expecting. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe there. All right, let's go ahead. Now, I totally forgot I even had these here. I put these out. They are a deck called the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And these are oracle cards, and I thought that I'd start using them as maybe, a confirmation card or clarifying. And so I just want to pull one. I just want to see what it even says. I tried it in a different reading the other day, and I was looking at specific details and using these. So we'll see. I totally forgot they were there. I have to be honest. So I'm just going to flip through, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. There we go. And just look at this. Flattery. Some kind of flattery. Well, what does this have to do with what we're talking about? Am I flattering you? No. Let's see. Romance. Okay. All right. And one more. Lust. Ooh. You have a situation. Okay. Well, this went a whole different direction. Let's see, this turned into a love reading. No, I don't know. I think that, yeah, you must be having some kind of flirtation. And it is. It's the backwards. It's 3, 2, 1. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe in all of this as well, your wheels are stirring or are turning a little bit. There are stirrings beginning, and there is a sense of love and lust in the air. All right, let's do our self-care cards. Okay, and let's see. I love these self-care affirmation cards. We have Spring of Beauty. My world is a spring of beauty. I nourish my spirit with music, art, and creativity that inspires me. I live a life of inspiration. I live a life of inspiration. All right. Okay, Libra, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to leave a comment, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next oh no, what the heck? I'm sorry. I started looking at my monitor. My brain, it like stalls out if I get distracted. Ooh. Yes. Yes, if you're new to the channel, leave a comment. Put it in the comment section. I'm closing my eyes so I don't get distracted by anything. Always, the end of the readings, I flip right back into my diagnosed ADHD mode. Yeah, I don't know. It takes a lot for me I have to really get into the like space where I'm going to be paying attention to what is going on during my reading. And sometimes it just slips and I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? All right, Libra, thank you for putting up with my space cadet, right? And yeah, we'll talk in a few days. Good night. I love you. I love you.